Instant match reaction. Everton 2, Brighton 3 at Goodison Park. Another defeat for Rafa Benitez's Everton side, and another absolutely dreadful performance today. A typical New Year's performance by Everton, that wasn't it really? Yeah, an utter shambles from minute 1 to minute 90, really. We were absolutely awful. Even the goals we scored were, decent opportunities taken by Anthony Gordon, I think, but they weren't anything magical. They weren't any sort of real great bit of play or great bit of movement, etc. It was just Anthony Gordon being alive to a ball that, the Brighton defenders weren't. But we were absolutely shocking today. I said it a couple of weeks ago, and I'll say it again. I don't see how there is any way back for Rafa Benitez. I seriously can't comprehend in my mind how Rafa Benitez is still in a job at Everton Football Club. There's no plan, there's no structure. We played 5 at the back against the good Brighton team. Let's be honest, Brighton are a good side. They're not anything special, they're not amazing, they're not one of the best teams in the league. And we were playing at Goodison Park today, and we played 5 at the back. And not only did we play 5 at the back, but we stayed 5 at the back, even when, we went to 2-1 and we got a goal back, and we had a little bit of a surge in confidence and momentum. Instead of putting 2 up front or changing the system, changing the style, he continued to stay in a defensive frame. And, he showed again today for me why he just is completely and totally inept at making any sort of tactical decision. He hasn't got a clue. He simply has not got a clue, and he shouldn't be anywhere near the managerial role at Everton. And none of the players seem to have a clue either. In the last 10 or 15 minutes, we're searching for an equaliser. We've got the second goal, obviously, after going 3-1 down. Anthony Gordon gets the second goal, and we've got a good 15 minutes there to get back in, to get a goal back, to go and grab an equaliser. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, in fact, I'd even go as far to say every other Premier League team in that situation would throw everything at it, would burst themselves forward and throw their absolute heart and souls at going and getting an equaliser in that game. But Everton don't. They still seem to sit back. We're still passing it around the floor. There's no plan. There's no structure. There's nothing. There's just nothing in this team, and I'm finding it more and more difficult every single week to give a shit. I can't lie, I'm finding it more and more difficult to pick myself up and to go to Goodison Park and watch that. Why should we go and spend our money watching that utter nonsense? Why? What's the point? What is the point? I'd much rather have sat at home today watching a film or something in my pyjamas and not have had to go out in a pissing down rain to watch them useless knobheads pretend to kick a ball about for 90 minutes. What's the point? The plan today was Dominic Calvert-Lewin's back in the team, lump it up to him, play every single ball you possibly can in the air and lump it up, long ball to Calvert-Lewin. And all this Graham Potter did is put players on that are tall. Brighton must have had about 14 players who were over 8 foot at the end of the game on the pitch, because all they've done is bring Shane Duffy on as the first substitution, and they brought the other fella on, I can't remember his name, as the second substitution, and he was about 6'9" as well. And that's all he did. They counter-attacked. Our only plan was long ball, lump the ball up top to Calvert-Lewin, and they just put loads of tall players on, and he defended against it easily. And we didn't change. There wasn't one point where the manager thought, you know what, let's switch it up. Let's give Brighton something else to think about. Let's try and offer something else to Calvert-Lewin. Let's try and give Damari Gray something else to work off. We didn't. Not at one point did we do that. It was just the same nonsense tactic over and over and over again, and it doesn't work, and it hasn't worked again today. We've been beaten there by a decent side. Brighton are a decent side. They're a good team. They're not a great team. They're a good average Premier League side who will finish mid-table Premier League this year. Now, we used to play sides like that at Goodison Park and beat them because we were a bit better than an average Premier League team, so we'd be able to beat these teams. Now we're losing these games because we're worse than the average Premier League team, and that means we're in a relegation battle. And I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says, we're in a relegation battle. Whether you like it or not, we're right in there. And it's all right to say, yeah, but we've got 3 games in hand, and look at where we could be if we win them. We won't beat Burnley at Turf Moor, not a chance. Leicester will wipe the floor with us next week at Goodison, and I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle got something out the game as well. So there's our 3 games in hand gone. I'd be surprised if we picked up more than a point in all 3 of them. As in the 3 of them together, more than a point collectively. So where does that leave us? At what point do the club seriously take a look at this situation and think maybe this manager isn't the right man for the job? And it's not all of the manager's fault. There's some players out there who just generally aren't very good at football. Mason Holgate shouldn't be playing for Everton Football Club. John Joe Kenny, as hard as he worked, he shouldn't be playing for Everton Football Club. What's the point in having Luca Dean on the bench, by the way? What's the point? If the manager's feeling is that Luca Dean will be leaving the football club and he isn't going to put him on the pitch until he does leave the football club, why have him on the bench? Why bring him on to warm up in front of the fans, knowing full well the reaction that is going to provoke? If you've got no plan to play him whatsoever, and you're going to play John Joe Kenny at left back, who's not a very good right back at left back, don't have Luca Dean anywhere near the squad. Don't put him on the bench and wind people up. Don't put him on the bench and give the sort of illusion that everything's okay. Come out and say he's not playing because he's leaving and we don't want to jeopardise the transfer with a potential injury, so he's not playing. Don't put him on the bench and act like everything's alright and then watch us perform like that, defensively like that, and keep him on the bench. It's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. Calvert-Lewin returned today. I feel a little bit sorry for Dom, to be honest with you, because I think the one tactic of lump the ball up to Calvert-Lewin and hope that he can take it down and take 10 players on and score was never going to work. He did have a chance with the penalty, which is awful. I won't sit here and I won't sit here and defend him. The penalty is absolutely shocking. Why he's trying to blast it in the top corner, after being out for so long and being, 2-0 down, why he's trying to go for the Hollywood finish is beyond me. He should have just hard and low, hit it as hard as you can, on target, and, make sure that we get back in the game. You don't go for the top corner in that situation. It was a shocking penalty, and it was a shocking decision by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I love Dom as much as the next Blue, I really, really do, but that's a shocking decision for me today. It should have been hard and low and on target. No, and let me try and put it in the top corner, because it was never going to happen. And yeah, we concede. Firstly, we conceded again a typical sort of Everton goal to concede. Defenders were just standing and watching. Simple ball gets put over the top and McAllister walks onto it and makes it 1-0. Not that long later, it's 2-0. Again, a typical Everton goal to concede. Set piece, ball comes in, completely unmarked, heads it into the back of the net. And at 2-0, and this is what's making it really, really difficult for me to care anymore, really, and to even be bothered to sit down and watch Everton, never mind sit down and talk about Everton, is you knew at 2-0 down that we weren't getting anything out of the game. We might get back into it. And I said as soon as it went 2-1, as soon as Gordon's first goal went in, which is a massive deflection, by the way, an absolutely massive deflection, made up for Anthony Gordon. He was one of, if probably not the only Everton player who deserved to praise today. And I made up for him getting the second goal as well, because that definitely was his goal. But the first one is a massive deflection. But I turned round and said to me mate who was at the game with it at 2-1, this is just a false hope. That's all it is. It's a false hope. It's not we're back in this now. We're going to get back in the game. We're going to go and get an equaliser, or we're going to go and get another couple of goals and win the game. It was just a false hope. That's all it was. It was we're 2-1 now, but we'll have a little go for 5 minutes and then we'll go back to being absolutely shite, and then we'll concede again, and then it'll be truly game over. And that's exactly what it was. We had a little go for a couple of minutes. We ran round for a little bit. They then come on again in the second half. They get the third goal, and we go back up the other end and we score a second. But then we have 15 minutes and we looked completely void of ideas. The midfield today was atrocious. Alan and Decore were abysmal. The pair of them were absolutely abysmal. It might be Abdoulaye Decore's worst game in an Everton shirt. And Alan, for as much as he runs around and he works hard and he gets about the pitch and he puts a tackle in, etc., he just doesn't do much else, does he? He just doesn't do much else. And as I said, defensively, considering we had 5 at the back, we were abysmal. We were absolutely abysmal, and yeah, I just, I don't know. I find it harder and harder to sit down and put myself through this every single week. We're just abysmal, and I don't see anything changing whilst this manager is still at the football club, making some of the absolutely ridiculously inept decisions that he's making on a weekly basis, because they're simply, you can't understand them. They're incomprehensible. You can't comprehend some of the tactical decisions that Rafael Benitez makes and doesn't make. 2-1 down. Why isn't he throwing another striker on at that point? Why aren't we going for the equaliser then? Why are we waiting until we go 3-1 down to make any form of decision? It's almost like he was happy with being 2-1 down. Why are we still 5 at the back at 2-1 down for a start at home to Brighton? We're not at home to Manchester fucking City. No disrespect to Brighton, they deserved the win today and they were very good, but we were at home to Brighton. And we still stayed with a 5 at the back. I don't know. Listen, I again, as I said, it's becoming more and more difficult to even bother, even bother picking myself up and going and watching the game anymore, because we're just awful. We're just truly awful, and I don't think until whilst this manager is here, I don't think this will change. I can't see it changing. I don't know who we're going to bring in January who is miraculously going to change this. Mikalenko is a good signing. Of course, he was announced yesterday. Great signing, good young player, but he ain't going to change this. Don't get your hopes up. He isn't going to turn up and all of a sudden will be amazing. Neither will Nathan Patterson, by the way, if he joins. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know where we go from here. But we are in a relegation battle. Absolutely in a relegation battle. And I worry that if we don't start picking up points, we will go down. I really, really do. Because I don't think this team have got the guts or the bollocks to put up enough fight to stay in the Premier League. I really, really don't. Again, it was a typical New Year's performance by Everton today. We put in that type of performance every single New Year. Lackluster, no energy, no determination, no plan, no desire, just no nothing. When was the last time Brighton scored 3 goals in a Premier League match? Tell me that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, to be honest with you. There's not much else to say. I could sit here and critique every single player. I thought the back line was awful. I thought Keane, Holgate, Godfrey were all shite. I thought the fullbacks weren't much better, to be honest with you. Midfield was embarrassing. And the forward line, Gordon worked hard and got his goals. Can't really criticise him too much. Gray didn't look fit. If I'm being honest with you, he didn't look fit. He was working hard, he was trying to make things happen, but he didn't look fit. And Calvert-Lewin, again, the penalty is a shocking decision in my opinion, an absolute shocking decision. But other than that, it was very much one-dimensional. Just get the ball up to Calvert-Lewin and hope that he can take it down and take 4 players on and score, and that was never going to be the case. He was isolated, he was on his own, he never had any service into him. And yeah, it was the type of Calvert-Lewin performance that makes you look and think, if we're gonna play like that and we're going to expect Dom to get anything out of a game like that, then you're not going to get much out of him whatsoever. But yeah, there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Player ratings will be up shortly. If you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new as well. And yeah, there you go. What more to say? Cheers for watching. See you after.